What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy Domuto. We're back with another video today. We're watching Saiyan, and we're watching What If Universes 6 and 7 merge part 8. I think the last part was what was the last part? Shit. Damn, it's been like 4 days. I forgot the last part, so we'll get into it. We're gonna remember.
And forces against Granola. And it wasn't just the usual group this time. Hit actually was involved too, teaming up with the group again as a true ally.
Got a nice itch.
But it seems a threat is brewing in the Megaverse. With both Kais monitoring the situation, what's going to happen now? We'll be seeing all that and more in this part 8 of What If Universe 6 and 7 were merged. Shin and Fua have been scouring the universe.
Right.
It's a little bit tough to find what they're looking for, but they know it's out there, and they're terrified about it. Shin has mentioned this to Fua a long time ago. With him learning about the history of Universe 7 before the two verses collided, there was a monster that attacked Shin. With him being the last survivor, the Grand Supreme Kai and the other Supreme Kai are all gone, thanks to a threat known as Majin Buu, the embodiment of Universe 7's evil. And with the two universes colliding, this poses an issue that might have not been as obvious at first. With their hands full, sure, there were a lot of other issues at hand, but it completely crossed Shin's mind. While Buu isn't active right now, if he ever were to become active again, he'll be a much bigger issue than before. He's the embodiment of Universe 7's evil, but now there's a larger Megaverse. That means he could potentially be even more powerful, being the embodiment of evil from both universes.
Yeah.
They need to stop him before he awakens. They need to find out where he is and try and seal him away for good, because they know Babidi is out there somewhere, with him being apparently active again. Majin Buu would have been a threat regardless, but now he has the potential to be an even bigger threat than before. And the two Kais are going to do everything in their power to stop him. As I mentioned before, the two Kais in the scenario aren't being incompetent. They're actually doing their job. The whole reason the scenario started in the first place is because, well, incompetence, and they want to avoid that. Even though last time it was the fault of Beerus and Champa, but they know this universe needs to be on its best behavior. And especially because the two gods of destruction aren't doing too much, they kinda need to pick up the slack. It's not only that, but they also have to learn everything about the other universe as well, which is how Fua heard about Buu in the first place. And while they can't confirm it just yet, it's exactly as they assumed. Buu is still sealed away, but he's actually a lot stronger than before, powered by the inherent evil in both universes combined. A formidable foe is waiting on the horizon. Let's shift over to the Galactic Patrol. Kappa and Cauliflower at the headquarters one day, when one of their colleagues gives them some news. This is the strongest patrolman in the force, Mayris. He's always been kinda odd, but they know he's reliable. He's worked his way up in the ranks pretty quickly, and he's been doing a great job, and seems very knowledgeable somehow. He has some news about a terrifying threat. They're not sure how he knows, but he tells them what's going on. He wants them to head to Earth immediately. He knows it sounds suspicious, but he has intel about some threat arriving there, warning them about Majin Buu. The patrol already has some knowledge of him, also knowing that the Grand Supreme Kai is part of him, and Buu's revival could spell some trouble, partially because it could affect one of the other prisoners there, but mainly because Buu is a huge threat in general. But Mayris knows that Babidi's heading towards Earth. With so much energy there to exploit, Babidi thinks that this planet is his best bet at reviving the Majin. He asks Kappa, Cauliflower, and Jocko to go to Earth with him, which is strange that he's going, but they trust his judgment.
I like Mayris in the story, man. He in there early.
But they can't put their finger on why. Cauliflower especially is suspicious of him. This guy acts really weird, and Kappa assures that he's trustworthy, but he kinda does agree. They know virtually nothing about him, but he's a good patrolman and he's been reliable. They just can't pinpoint why he's so knowledgeable, why he has so much strength, and why he's so mysterious. On Earth, the two Kais arrive. They're here earlier than normal, and they can tell that Babidi's gonna attack soon. They have to try and scour the planet somehow, finding wherever he is. He might already be here. And not too long into their search, the two of them see a ship landing nearby, one that has kind of a strange presence on board. At first I think it might be Babidi, but no, it's the Galactic Patrol. The two Kais go up to the ship, assuming they're here for the same reason, mainly because Mayris steps off. He and the Kais make eye contact, silently acknowledging each other. The two Kais don't know exactly what Mayris is, but they can kind of assume, and they don't say anything about it, just silently acknowledging it with Mayris. They introduce themselves to everybody, with Kappa and Jocko immediately showing respect, realizing that these two are Supreme Kai. Cauliflower's a bit out of the loop, but they explain. And then she's immediately intrigued. Oh, if they're here to help against Buu, they must be really strong. And the two do say they're powerful, but not as powerful as the threat here on Earth. The two Kais explain all the info they have on Buu, and also touch upon why he's such a big threat, including the fact that this isn't just a normal universe. This is amazing to the patrolmen because they've heard rumors about this, passed through the Galactic Patrol for generations. But hearing it directly from two Supreme Kai, that's pretty much all the proof they need. It's weird to think that this universe actually isn't normal. That explains a lot, actually. Does that explain the differences between the Saiyans and everything? There's no time to mull on it now, though. It is a pretty huge reveal for them, and the Kai say they'd be glad to educate everyone later on, but for now they need to focus on this. And Kappa suggests enlisting some more friends to help find Babidi. If he's probably here already right now, they're going to need a lot more eyes on the lookout for him. And Shin's glad to hear this. They're aware that there's some strong fighters on Earth, but do these patrolmen actually know them? And pretty quickly, they're able to get a few people over here. Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, and Piccolo.
I like it.
The 4 strongest warriors on Earth. They're caught up to speed, except for the universe reveal because that's just going to make more questions for them. And Piccolo is very serious about this. Considering he's the fusion of so many Namekians and has a lot of their knowledge too, even though Kami's not a part of him, he still has knowledge of the Kais here, and takes everything they say very seriously. But not just that,
I remember in the original Dragon Ball Z, that nigga Piccolo was shook,
having
boy.
been passed down through Namekian legends.
Like, oh.
He knows Goku and Vegeta are probably excited for a strong fight, but urges them, don't take this lightly. And for that exact same reason, he also does know a little bit about the Universal Merge. Just not enough, and no one else is really going over it at the moment. But it is worth mentioning that Piccolo knows a little about it. Everyone splits up and starts looking. They have an entire planet to cover after all. But thankfully, Shin and Fu are able to narrow it down to just one area. It's still a pretty large area, but it should be easier to search here than the entire planet. They sense a vague evil presence nearby, and everyone goes in groups of 2. It doesn't take too long before the search actually produces something. One of the groups flying together is Goku and Gohan, and as they're looking in their respective area, Gohan then hears Goku yell out, turning back to see him standing there with half his body looking like it's stone now. He points over to where it came from, showing Gohan where the enemy is before he fully turns to stone. He doesn't have time to say much but tells Gohan to watch out. He had some ability to turn him to stone from a long range. Gohan goes over to Goku trying to see what he can do to reverse this, but he can't do anything. And he looks over to where Goku is pointing. There's a cape man floating there in the air, looking down at Gohan. He's immediately enraged, ready to fight this man. But Shin and Fu are then Goku, sensing his power spike significantly. They confirm that the threat's over here, then teleport around to all the others and bring them to this area too. But Shin warns Gohan, don't use too much energy. They can kill Dabura, and if they do kill Dabura, then it'll free Goku from the stone. But he can't use too much energy here. Shin puts a big emphasis on that. Gohan can do whatever he needs, just don't go overboard. And Gohan's a bit confused by this, but he listens. He's only gonna need a brief power boost to defeat this guy anyways. Gohan then launches in to fight Dabura one-on-one, being sure to avoid most of his attacks until he figures out that it's spit that turns people into stone. As the Kais continue bringing everyone over to this area, just so they could look around even further, Babidi's gotta be around here somewhere. And amidst their search, Cap is able to stumble across what looks to be a ship, but before he could yell out about it, he then feels a sharp pain in his side. Somebody stabbed him, and he starts to feel weak. He falls to the ground.
Oh, well, he got stuck by Bibidi.
But he doesn't lose all of it. Before it's completely drained, Maris then enters the scene, shooting at who he presumes to be Babidi. With Babidi then quickly teleporting out of the way. Maris does have to be careful though. He can't use his real power. He's basically just here as a guide. And this gave Babidi a good amount of info. First of all, he's glad to see that Kaba was strong enough to have that much energy. This group should be particularly useful, but also that Maris guy is interesting. He's definitely not what he seems, but Babidi isn't too sure why. He couldn't sense his energy either, but he definitely seemed powerful. Babidi starts monitoring the scene, and he watches as Dabura is killed by Gohan. Pretty quickly, in fact. This annoys Babidi a bit because he wanted to get a little bit more energy out of that, but he still has other options. Gohan rushes over to Goku, who thankfully is okay now, and isn't stone anymore. He updates Goku on the entire situation. And Goku's just glad that wasn't permanent or anything. He was kind of freaking out when he was turning into a statue, as anyone would.
Yeah.
By now, everyone has pinpointed Babidi's ship. It's just a matter of infiltrating it now. And Babidi realized that this might be a tough situation. He didn't expect him to be here that quickly. Thankfully, he did get some energy. Dabura's fight with Gohan did lend him some, and Kama had a fair amount too. But he still needs more. He's barely above 60% of the energy that he needs.
Damn.
And Babidi has a few other questions. Who's Maris? Why are there 2 Kais here? He doesn't recognize that other one. Although he does remember a while back, he felt some sort of disturbance in the universe. He honestly wasn't too sure what happened, but he knows the universe isn't the same as it was when he was first active. And he could actually tell that something's pretty off with Buu. He's not too sure why, but he has a feeling that what he's unleashing isn't the same thing that Bibidi had from before. He finishes giving all of Kappa's energy to the egg, trying to think of what to do next. Maybe he could try and possess someone else in that group. There's got to be someone in that group with enough evil energy to manipulate. But as he's thinking, the ship starts shaking for some reason. He panics, thinking it's being destroyed from the outside. But he realized that something's shaking behind him. He looks back at Buu's egg and it's rapidly shaking. And steam's coming out of it too.
Oh shit.
Wait, is it hatching already? That doesn't make sense. He only has about 60% of the energy in there. What's happening? Why is it so
There's
unsafe?
a lot of energy.
But Babidi stands back. The entire ship explodes, and everyone on the outside sees a giant plume of smoke. The smoke launches up into the air, and then forms into a giant pink blob. Shin and Fu are confused too. There's no way that could have been enough energy, right? But Shin thinks this is a result of what they were theorizing before. Maybe Babidi didn't need that much power because Buu already had some. It's just like they thought. The 2 universes merging actually affected this. With 2 universes worth of Buu's and evil energy combined into one, this is what fuels him. Even while he was sealed, he still had more latent energy, and the gauge that Babidi had in Buu's egg didn't reflect that properly.
Shit.
And as the smoke forms into Buu, Shin looks on with terror. This isn't the same Buu that he fought before. He looks drastically different, and the energy, it's even more intense than he remembered.
Fuck.
The group coalesces together and watches Buu rise up.
You go straight to
Shin
Super Buu?
comments on it. He's not as docile as Fat Buu, and he's not as unrestrained as Kid Buu. This is a brand new Buu. This is Super Buu. And he can't believe this occurred. It's not the Buu he remembers, so it has to be his theory. It definitely came true. Fua tries to keep it quiet and tells Shin it's gotta be because of the two universes merging. And no one hears this, but Piccolo actually does. What do they mean there's a multiverse? And what is this about a multiversal merge? There's so much here that's not adding up. And it's not just that either. There's also that Mayris guy who seems strange. He has a lot of questions for these guys, but Piccolo keeps it to himself. He doesn't want to cause a panic. Besides, he does have the knowledge of the previous Namekians too. And he's been wanting to find more info out about this because he actually does know a little about it. But that's not the main focus here. How are they supposed to face Buu? Not just any normal Buu either. It's a much stronger Majin Buu. Goku then notices two powers approaching. They're smaller powers and they're not enemies. And then it clicks with him who these powers are. It's Goten and Trunks. Why are they coming here? Vegeta then feels it too and realizes they need to get those two to leave. They're gonna get killed over here. Goten and Trunks then fly in, saying they sense all this power getting out of control and decided they wanted to help. And then they see Majin Buu standing there with Babidi. Goku and Vegeta try to get them to leave as quickly as possible. But it seems like it's too late now because immediately after, Super Buu attacks. Damn, now they have to worry about those two as well. And Gohan spends a lot of his time trying to make sure that they don't get in the way. Not only are they a liability in this fight, but he's concerned that they're going to get hurt. Although we can't focus too much on that because Gohan is one of the stronger people in the group, and he needs to utilize his power here against
Come on, Gohan.
But nothing is working against this Buu. They have a big group facing him, and the group is powerful. But this Buu is so far beyond the normal Buu that it's
I like how
a lot
different
tougher.
this is.
He's intelligent now. He has strong magic, and he's far more powerful than the normal Super Buu even was.
Oh.
And it's not just that either. This Buu is beyond any Buu we've seen in the Buu saga. Kid Buu, Fat Buu, Super Buu with any of those people absorbed, including Buuhan. This Buu surpasses even those ones.
Oh,
it's not like the group has a frame of reference either way. And the thing is, that's this Buu's strength without anybody absorbed. He stops fighting for a bit, and then turns his head completely around, looking at Babidi. Babidi cheers him on, trying to motivate Buu.
He about to
But
kill
Buu
that
then
motherfucker.
simply turns Babidi into candy, then telekinetically bring him over and eating him in one bite. He then turns back into the group. He says he hopes they didn't think he was some mindless monster being controlled by Babidi. No, he has complete free thought and all. And consider that just a little bit of an example of his power. This should be a really fun battle. Shin and Fua try their best to help, but they fall back for a bit, turning to Mayris. Shin says he doesn't know exactly who Mayris is, but he can assume. He's related to the angels somehow, isn't he? His power should be able to help out here, but Mayris says he's not too sure. His power is very limited here. If he tries to fight as an angel using any of those abilities, he'll be erased from existence. He's forbidden from doing that. He's essentially here as an observer, but he will offer help in the best way that he can, making use of all the Galactic Patrol tools at his disposal. But he's getting concerned too. He doesn't think these mortals stand a chance against this guy. The Kai certainly don't either. But he can't protect the Kais. That's not his objective. He can't use his powers here. He knows that this universe is already under scrutiny anyways, and if an angel went rogue and started using his powers, that would probably just put it at more risk, mainly from Zeno this time. But he tries to offer help in whatever other way possible. And even though he's preoccupied with the fight, Piccolo also picks up on this too, easily able to eavesdrop on everything. What do they mean he's an angel? Like, he's dead or something? What power does he have hidden away that he can't use? He has to save these questions.
Damn.
This Buu is a terrifying opponent. He wants to have fun and gain more power, and he's clearly enjoying himself here. Thankfully, they don't know that he can absorb anyone yet. So the first absorption should be pretty easy. A piece of himself is split off during the battle too, and he doesn't regenerate it. And it slowly creeps up on the group, targeting Mayris at first. For some reason, Buu feels like he's the one that could be the most beneficial here. That piece of him jumps up at Mayris. And at first, Buu thinks he has him in his grasp, but for some reason, Mayris is able to move out of the way incredibly quickly, acting completely on instinct, and then telling the others to watch out as that piece of him flies past. He's able to shoot it with his blaster midair and destroy it, but that wasn't the only piece of him to fly off. There's a piece of him near everybody. One of them's able to latch onto Goku's foot. Two of them almost hit Goten and Trunks, but Piccolo's able to jump in the way, destroying the two pieces aimed at them, but there's another nearby. One that catches him by surprise and ambushes him. The pieces of Buu slowly start crawling over them. Buu is surprised they saw through that trick. But it's already too late. Now, Piccolo and Goku will be part of him. He summons those pieces over, fully assimilating their power into his. His energy spikes tremendously. Shin and Fu are they're doomed. Buu was too strong before, but now he's gonna have all the abilities, all the techniques, all the power of these two. And they're talented fighters at that as well. How could this have happened? They've tried to do everything right. They tried to correct their mistakes as Kais, trying to be better as gods. But this was a completely unforeseen event. They tried to act as quickly as possible, but it seems that it just caused this to happen. It was a self-fulfilling
Who gonna fuse?
But Mayris walks over to the Kais, telling them to not blame themselves. This isn't their fault. This is simply a symptom of the bigger issue. It's something completely out of their control. The two universes merging. They did everything to help. He's glad they're here, glad that they're doing their jobs. They're acting as gods should, but they can't give up just yet. Buu's power-up and transformation completes. As he stands there, admiring his new body, he feels even stronger, even smarter than before.
He's wearing Piccolo's clothes,
above everybody too, but there's no harm in absorbing some extra power here too. It's gonna make the battle a lot more interesting, especially because he gets to see the look of terror on everybody's faces when they realize that their two friends are now gone. It could make this battle a lot more interesting. As he stands there admiring himself, Vegeta, Kappa, and Caulifla try to launch him together, but without even moving, Boo produces a shockwave that knocks them all back. He doesn't even flinch. He doesn't even look in their direction. But then he turns over at them and smiles. So, now it's time to begin the next stage of the battle. With the birth of the brand new Boo, this is where we'll leave off for now.
What's gonna happen next time? Ooh, shit. Shit. What's gonna happen next time? That nigga Boo too strong. I don't know what they gonna do. Yeah, the Kai gonna prediction. The Kai gonna teleport to the Kai sacred world, and they gonna draw the Z sword. That's the best thing they can do. But even then, that probably won't be strong enough. They got a fuse. Definitely got a fuse. Anyway, you want to watch the last part, it'll be right here. You want to watch another what if story, you know what I'm saying? Be right there. And I'll catch you next time. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Peace.